Inside the Deep Web, My Journey Through the New Underground by Shawn Wasson. This is a Fringe Audio Reads recording. All Fringe Audio Reads are available online for private use. This is a selective recording read for fun. This is an amateur recording by a student. Visit Fringe Audio Reads online at youtube.com or find it in a search engine. Email address is fringeaudioreads@gmail.com. Reading by George Skoda. Inside the Deep Web, My Journey Through the New Underground by Shawn Wasson. The internet has evolved quite a bit since I first logged on to the CompuServe in 1994. I spent a few years tooling around on BBS, bulletin board systems, connections through the country at the point, and the most visible portions of forming World Wide Web were quite innocent in appearance. But as I ramped up my father's 4,900 baud modem and looked around at the fringes of online existence, I unknowingly caught a glimpse at the web's early underbelly. For there, pornography, craziness, and illegal activities were easily accessible. There wasn't many people logging on, so, naturally, there wasn't many people to police this new digital space. Eventually, as AOL, Prodigy, and other ISPNs became more mainstream, the more nefarious outlets vanished into the shadows. But where did it all go? I recently took a plunge into the deep web, a subsurface area of the internet not indexed by search engines and only available to those on the forefront of technology, namely people connected to the Tor network. This network of hidden websites is the new underbelly of the web, the new underground, if you will, chock full of all sorts of illicit activities. Child porn peddlers, drug dealers, hitmen, and other criminal groups thrive on the deep web, and anonymity reigns supreme. The following post outlines my finding and hopefully sheds some light on the true wild, wild west of the World Wide Web. What is the deep web? Wikipedia has an excellent overview on the deep web. The deep web, also called deep net, the invincible web, dark net, undernet, or the hidden web, refers to the World Wide Web content that is not part of the surface web, which is indexed by standard search engines. Mike Burgum, credited with coining the phrase, has said that the searching on the internet today can be compared to dragging a net across the surface of the ocean. A great deal may be caught in the net, but there is a wealth of information that is deep and therefore by mist. Most of the web's information is buried far down on the dynamically generated sites, and standard search engines do not find it. Traditional search engines cannot see or retrieve content in the deep web. Those pages do not exist until they are created dynamically as the result of a specific search. The deep web is several orders of magnitude larger than the surface web. So if the internet as you know is an iceberg, the smallest part of that iceberg, the visible portion, is where you have been servicing your entire life. You visit websites, click links, use search engines to research topics of interest, and generally just make your way around the visible web. But below the visible portions, there is much larger compilation of destinations beyond the reach of most internet users. This portion, the deep web, is much harder for the average person to access and even harder to navigate. Much of the criminal activity that happens on the deep web is cloaked in anonymity, shrouded in secrecy of someone hidden from the prying eye that would love to put an end to the virtual land of Oz. Honestly, what I'm trying to say is this. You may be familiar with the internet, maybe even the darker side of the internet. You may know how to find pornography for free, download music illegally, use a torrent program to download pirated movies and other media, or purchase prescription pills from some online pharmacy. But if you haven't visited the deep web, you ain't seen nothing yet. Sure, there are research papers and legitimate and interesting pieces of content to view on the other side, but there's also some pretty nefarious happenings there. How do you connect to the deep web? Though the deep web may be beyond those of you with little in the way of technical and web savvy, it's not impossible, nor even extremely difficult to visit. First, you need to download Tor, the software that allows you to access the deep web. Tor is designed to provide internet users with as close to complete anonymity as possible. The Tor website describes their software and their mission as followed. Tor protects you by bouncing your communications around a distributed network of relays run by volunteers all around the world. It prevents somebody watching your internet connection from learning what sites you visit, and it prevents the sites you visit from learning your physical locations. Tor works with many of your existing applications, including web browsers, instant messaging clients, remote login, and other applications based on the TCP protocol. You can use Tor on virtually any PC, Mac, or even mobile devices like the iPhone and Android-operated smartphones. But if, like me, you're using Firefox, you next need to install the Tor button. With the Tor software up and running and the Tor button installed, you'll see a small onion logo near the address bar at your browser. If you're correctly logged into the Tor network, you can click this button and begin to explore the deep web. This collection of deep web links should get you started. But keep in mind, you won't be able to maneuver in this layered land quite as easily as you did back on the visible web. There is no Google-like search engines on these sites. I'm aware of the moment. Instead, it's a collection of wikis and BBS-like sites that aggregate links to other locations of the deep web. These sites generally have bizarre, unmemorable domain names like sdddohiiddddgmom.onion. That's right, instead of .com. These domains generally end in .onion suffix. And because you'll never remember how you got to where you are if you spend any significant time here, it's best to save the URLs or bookmark your way through this journey. Where can I find? What can you find on the deep web? The Silk Road is the most popular place to buy drugs on the deep web. For ecstasy, pure MDMA, marijuana, psychedelics, and seeds to opiates, they have basically any drug with an underbase. They also have categories for services like hacking, lab supplies like sulfuric acid and liquid mercury, money for stolen credit cards, traveler checks, and forged bills and coins, jewelry like uncut stones, stolen gold, and other precious metals obtained via deviation means of finally weapons, where they are currently list a Glock 17 for sale out in Canada that includes one clip with 9 live rounds. Another deep web drug outlet, the General Store, focuses on ketamine, MDMA, MDPV, and DMT. You may need to Google some of those. Forum posts like these are common and often unanswered, and even include requests for murders, including, as example, I am in need of a fake passport for either USA or Canada of good quality. If anyone has information, it would be the most welcome. Thank you. Note, this is not from the Silk Road, but a popular message board on the deep web. Most transactions on the deep web are conducted via bitcoins. You can purchase virtually anything with this digital currency, ranging from legit to the oh so far away from legit. You can buy all items outlined above, and you can even hire a prostitute. There is, however, some debate over whether or not these transactions are anonymous. More on that below. 1 Bitcoin equals $10 USD. You can find literally anything illegal on the deep web. Speaking of illegal, let me issue a strong warning at this point. Be extremely careful what sites you visit and links you click. You could find yourself on a child pornography website or just all-around grotesque sexual deviance-focused site that will ruin your experience, and in case of child pornography, your life. The wiki page linked to above contains mostly safe sites to search, but stay away from anything labeled as Chen or bulletin board, as they probably traffic heavily in child pornography. Anything labeled CP is avoided at all costs. It will lead you to child porn. There are sites on the deep web that offer the service of hitmen, advice to gang members, directions on how to build explosives, how to cheat at virtually anything, and pretty much any other illegal activity or services that you can dream of. It's all there. Some of it is frightening. Some of it is interesting. All of it is anonymous. Wait, is it really anonymous? Is this all truly anonymous? Probably not. To a horse's mouth, we go. Update. Jeff Garzik, a member of the Bitcoin core development team, says in his email that Bitcoin is not used as anonymous as the deniers of Silk Road would like to believe. He explains that because all Bitcoin transactions are recorded in a public log, though they identify of all parties are anonymous, law enforcement could use the sophisticated networks analysis techniques to phase the transaction flow and track down the individual Bitcoin users. Attempting major illicit transactions with Bitcoin, given existing statistic analysis techniques deployed in the field by law enforcement, is pretty damn dumb, he says, though may he be saying that because Bitcoin hopes to be viewed as a legitimate business. My journey through the new underground, the deep dark web, was interesting, to say that at least. There's a lot of potential for trouble down near the bottom of this iceberg, so always be aware of what you're doing and the illegally of your actions. Still, I have the unquenchable thirst for the unknown, so by carefully maneuvering a way that kept several meters and snake pit between myself and most vile content of the deep web, I was able to learn a bit about the facet of the internet I had yet to discover. I encourage you to poke around a bit as well. But remember, do so at your own risk. Be safe. Watch what you click and refrain from purchasing anything along the way. Be careful. It's a whole new world down there. End of Inside the Deep Web, My Journey Through the New Underground by Shawn Wasson.